Hey, nice to see everybody again. Welcome to all the shareholders for QU Media to our first Thursday of the month of June 2025. We've had a number of questions that have been submitted from shareholders. So we thought today we would let Jace read me each of those 7 or 8 questions, and I'll do my best to answer them for you, and hopefully that can help everybody gain some more confidence and understanding of what's going on around here. By the way, you've missed the fancy opening for this. We're not doing this live. It was pre-recorded, but Jace's his editing gear is not working at the moment, so we're going with the plain wrap version of it. So, Jace,
That's my bad.
it's his fault. Did you guys notice that mustache? Anyway, okay, Jace, let's go. I'm ready. Let's hear the first question.
Okay, the first question is, what is the status of the IPO in India? Is it really happening?
That's a great question and one that we ask ourselves every day. No, I'm just kidding. No, that's a great question. Look, we're the first ones to say that, like much of life and the process of running business, things are slower than we would like them to be. The IPO is proceeding without any major hitches. Other than that, for reasons that are beyond our control, it's going slower than we would like. Our expectation is that in the not too distant future, and I know I've said that before, we're going to be getting news of an approval from the BSE. We do expect some more what they call queries, which are questions that relate to the draft red herring prospectus, the DRHP. They go through it with a fine-tooth comb. They inspect everything you can conceive of or imagine that they would look into. We've gone through 3 different sets of queries and answered all of those successfully to date. We expect another 1, maybe 2. We're not exactly sure. Again, that's out of our control. But we are proceeding. We are making real progress. We have had direct meetings with the BSE during the process, and we do fully expect to reach an approval status here in the not too distant future, but I'm not going to predict an exact time frame. So it's something that we're all looking forward to. It's something that we think can be a major contributor to our business in the second half of 2025 and beyond. And we're still awaiting that approval so that we can move into actual listing.
Okay, second question. Are you concerned about the decline in overall revenue in Q1?
The short answer to that is not really. I mean, obviously, we always want revenue to increase and climb. The reason for the decline in revenue in Q1 was primarily associated with our discontinued operation status that we created previously around the gaming business and subsequently in Q1 for the broadcast channel business. By doing that, you reduce the overall revenue from those businesses and its contribution to the overall revenue of the company, which is why the revenue has dropped. With that said, we fully expect that our revenue is going to continue on an upward trajectory from the contributions of both the US business and the Chatterbox business going forward in not just Q2 of this year, but also in the second half of 2025 and beyond. The real driver behind all of this is what we've already spoken about, which is that we were burning a lot of cash out of those other 2 businesses, and we weren't seeing the market really and our share price perform in a way that was commensurate with the financial risks that were associated with growing those businesses. And so we made the decision a while back to discontinue those operations, sell off those operations, depending on what the case may be, in order to be able to focus completely on the influencer marketing business. We're now doing that. We're fully behind that decision. We don't have any second thoughts or misgivings about making that decision. We think all shareholders will see the benefits of that decision as we move forward, and we couldn't be more excited about having really kind of a clear, direct focus for what we're doing as a company right now, and we fully feel that we'll see that in our results as we move ahead.
You've mentioned being in a quiet period. Is that still the case?
Yeah, we are still in a sort of so-called quiet period with respect to Chatterbox specifically, but the overall business. QU Media is the largest shareholder of Chatterbox and the largest so-called sponsor of the IPO in India. And in the quiet period, it's really a restriction on doing anything that has us promoting or doing some sort of what might be considered unreasonable hype or promotion around the IPO or around the business. Because QU Media is such a large shareholder in the Chatterbox IPO and the largest sponsor of the IPO, it is paramount that we remain quiet as well as Chatterbox. So that's why you've seen a smaller number of press releases coming out of us, except for the ones which are required on a statutory basis, like reporting earnings and other things that we are legally required to post. You will be seeing, as soon as we receive that approval, a major uptick in the amount of PR and press that's going to be coming out of the business going forward.
Can you comment on the loan with the 48% interest rate?
Yes, I can comment on that. It's an egregious interest rate, and what you don't see in that is that we have an early payout period that's at a 12% interest rate. We're intending and planning on doing that. We have not achieved that yet. But our game plan is to do the early exit from that loan. As many of you are well aware, obviously every financing has dilution associated with it. It has costs associated with it. So the net cash that you get along with the dilution comes at a price. So we believe that if we can exit that loan at a 12% interest rate, which is what we're intending on doing, then it will be very, very close to what we would have experienced if we went through a traditional financing for a similar amount. So, there's no guarantees in life for anything, but we certainly hope to avoid the very, very large interest rate that will exist if we fail in being able to pay it off in time. For the early payoff, I should say.
I see lots of announcements on LinkedIn about awards for the U.S. business. Why are there no press releases?
Well, this is related to the question that was asked previously about a quiet period. One can probably make the argument that LinkedIn is a public platform as well. And so, frankly, we're very, very careful in terms of what we're saying and doing. We're not doing anything on the India version of our LinkedIn. That's all from the U.S. business. These are public pronouncements that are available from the places that we've won these awards. So if you were following whether it was the Shorty Awards or whether it was the Digiday Awards or whatever the award may be, they make public announcements about these, and that information is publicly available. So we don't think that that's something we could put out an individual press release about it, and I think we'd probably be okay by doing that. But again, we're being extremely conservative and extremely cautious now. Obviously, we don't want to do anything that would have any material negative effect on the process of the IPO by putting out a press release. So we're using LinkedIn for that purpose. But as I said previously, you'll be seeing a lot more press coming from us once we get out of the quiet period and past the expected approval from the exchange.
Why are there salary increases from last quarter to this one?
Most of the salary increases are related to employee retention. The area of the influencer marketing business is extraordinarily competitive now. That's a good thing. It's extraordinarily competitive because the business keeps growing. Some of you might have seen that Publicis, which is one of the largest agencies in the world, has done over $500 million of M&A acquisitions over the last 6 months. One for a company called Influential, another one for a company very recently called Captivate. And so the competition to keep very, very qualified and seasoned and experienced personnel in a company is something that is a constant battle that we're always dealing with. And so, part of that comes with employee retention. And so salaries have increased as a result of that. We still are under market Our employees and new hires remind us of that constantly, that we're under market in terms of what we're paying for a lot of these positions, but people have a lot of responsibilities and things that they get to do in this company that they might not get to do in a larger company where they could potentially get paid more. And so we're trying to be competitive. We're trying to retain the best of the best. We feel we're doing that, and we think we're still under market in terms of what we're paying our staff.
What are you guys doing about AI?
Oh boy. We could go on for hours about AI and what we talk about and do on a daily basis around AI. I mean, look, AI is affecting every business on the planet Earth. I've been through a lot of different changes that have occurred in the media space, whether it was the advent of home video or even to some degree the advent of cable and satellite television. I was around during the CD-ROM era, around during the beginning of the internet and dot-com boom, the streaming media era, et cetera. In almost every one of those cases, I can probably cite reasons that things were overhyped at that time and that there were the media and the press was overhyping what was happening. This is probably one of the first times in my career, which has been a long one, obviously, that I'm seeing AI be something that maybe isn't being overhyped right now. We're already using it in our daily process. We're actually going through something inside the company right now where we're going and looking at each of the different paths of the workflow for each of the business units in the company, whether it's sales or account management or studio or whatever it might be. And we're looking at ways that we can use specific AI tools to be able to make us work faster, make us work better, make us work more efficiently, et cetera. So this is an ongoing process. I think everybody in our company, we have a fairly young staff, is adept in using AI as a tool. We have some of our own management tools that we've built, that Jace has built for the most part on a homegrown basis. We'll be talking about those more as we move forward. And talking about what those are and how they work. But the bottom line is that AI is embedded into the day-to-day work of our business every day, from content creation through responding to RFPs, through casting, through everything you can imagine. And we expect to be a leader in using those tools, including some of our own tools that we've created going forward. And I think the real question around AI for us is how can we make our business grow faster and better by deploying AI, as opposed to being scared of it, because all AI is at the end of the day is another tool that can be used to increase efficiency and capability. I guess that's it for the questions that came in from the shareholders for the session of First Thursday. I've said this for a while that we hope that we're going to have some big announcements around the IPO by the time we get to the next First Thursday. I've been made a liar of so far, so I hope that's not the case when we go forward. As always, we deeply appreciate all of you following us, supporting us, and we're super pumped inside the company about the second half of 2025 and the exciting things that we think it's going to bring, not only for us inside the company, but for all of us that are shareholders. So thanks so much, and look forward to seeing you all on the first Thursday of July.